There was another cabinet shakeup. The president has chosen Joseph Maguire, a retired Navy admiral and current director of the National Counterterrorism Center, to serve as acting director of national intelligence. Maguire will replace Dan Coats. The announcement came just hours after Sue Gordon, the #2 official at the agency, resigned. Are members of the intelligence community, Nancy, and leaders on Capitol Hill concerned about this tumult or not?
They're very concerned. And in fact, the head of the Senate Intelligence Committee, Richard Burr, had made it very clear that he did not want Sue Gordon to leave. He had a great deal of confidence in her. And it's been very important to Democrats and Republicans alike on Capitol Hill that the president have an independent voice at the DNI, somebody who's going to tell him things that he doesn't want to hear, especially since this is a president that we know does not always believe what he's told by his own intelligence community. And so they were very concerned by the reports that she was going to be forced out. Burr did say some kind things about Maguire. He said he's known him for a long time. He has confidence in his ability to step into the role. I think the thinking is that it could have been worse.
And we've seen many acting people inside of this administration. Is there a cost to having that across the government?
Absolutely. I mean, especially when you're looking at intelligence officials, right? One of the reasons we have those public airings and we go into the background of what is your expertise and how would you handle this is we get a sense of how this person would report to the president. What kind of information is going to the decision makers? There are, I think, now more acting heads for national security and intelligence offices than ever before. I mean, we went several months at the Pentagon without a head as well. And it's troubling for a number of reasons. Also, we're moving into an election year. Russian interference is going to be a big problem. It's one of the reasons that the nominee that President Trump had floated, Congressman Ratcliffe, was eventually sort of dismissed in bipartisan way because they weren't they weren't worried about his credentials.
The president, for his part, though, has said on many occasions that he likes acting heads. He thinks they're more pliable. He thinks it's easier to get them to do what he wants them to do. He prefers it to be that way. And there's been historic turnover in this administration. You look at all the studies that's been done, almost double any other president departures. The president doesn't seem concerned about it. He named John Ratcliffe, the congressman from Texas, to run DNI, publicly says the media does the vetting for me. Names him on a Sunday and tweet. By Friday, he drops out and he's on to someone else. And there's been time after time after time where there's been disclosures that have come out about cabinet secretaries who've been, damaging, where lawmakers say we're not going to do this, we're not going to put this person confirmed. Folks who've been thrown out of office or had to resign because they've had all these troubles. And it continues. There have been no changes. There's no more vetting than there were 2.5 years ago. It's no different.
What is the signal to the intelligence community to have Dan Coats and Sue Gordon leave at the same time?
Well, some of the career professionals are obviously concerned. But when I talk to my sources across the board, they say, Pierre, look, we got a job to do. Politics may be what they are, but we have threats from Al-Qaeda to the situation with Iran, to North Korea. We can't afford to take our eye off the ball. So that is the bit of good news, that even though there's disruption at the top, the career people who are doing the job, who are out in the field, know they've got to get it done.
Who's in your notebook, Josh? Who next? Who could the president nominate for DNI?
There's been a lot of names that have bopped around. Pete Hoekstra, the Netherlands ambassador, I think Netherlands, I'm not exactly sure on that.
Netherlands.
Yeah. Fred Fleitz, who's Bolton's old guy, who's someone that the president likes seeing on TV. There'd be a lot of concern, I think, on the Hill and the Intelligence Committee and others about him. The president says he has 6, 8, 10 names, and he says that one of the things he's going to be doing in Bedminster is analyzing DNI choices and interviewing them. And he claims this time, after the Ratcliffe debacle, that he's actually asking Senate Intel officials what they think of people in advance. So we'll see.
Does this mean inside of the cabinet that Secretary of State Pompeo is firmly in control, along with National Security Advisor Bolton? You have a CIA director in Gina Haspel, who's very low profile, an acting director at DNI.
Yeah, and then you have to wonder how long Pompeo is going to stick around if he decides that he wants to run for Senate in Kansas. This, I think, reflects the president's longtime frustration with the entire DNI apparatus. He would rather it not be there at all. He has chafed against the authority of the DNI. And so, frankly, he's looking for a way to diminish the role that the Director of National Intelligence has. The problem is that anybody who he nominates, if that person doesn't have the approval of Republicans in the Senate, it's not going to go anywhere. So he's realized now he does need to work with the head of the Senate Intelligence Committee and other top Republicans.
And whoever he hires, that person is going to face the pressure from the people doing the work to say, these are the facts. This is what you need to know about this particular threat. And we will not have it fudged, and they will figure out a way to get that message out.